So, public testing for the rewrite update just ended a few days ago, and I kind of want to give my opinion and overall feedback of the update. First of all, I like how the lobby looks, and I can't really tell if this is intentional or not, but in the elevator room, you might notice that there are statues surrounding the place, and then there's just this random throne. I don't know if that's reference to Blocktails, because if you look at Blocktails, you might realize that the statue does look like the sentient statue in Blocktails, and then the throne is pretty much a callback to the Cruel King. And I know they leaked something in the past where there was someone sitting on the throne, but I think they removed him, or he's just not added yet. It was like someone with a Dominus on his head. But yeah, it might be a reference because they did make that Cruel King admin tower, which was purely for a joke because it did not do anything but stand up and just run into the enemies. I'm pretty sure a bunch of you don't like this, but it's the UI, and I do know that they are trying to remake the UI to be better, but the one in the public testing was just, it was way too big at first, to the point where they pretty much had to scale it down because it just covered up half of your screen. And the studs, if you looked at the UI, it's kind of hard to see things with the background just being so detailed. And I do like how the new UI is going to be more simple with the stud pattern and the texturing, but yeah, I was very limited to playing the testing. I only played yellow mode, which was completely unbalanced. It was probably as hard as red mode was in the main game, and that's probably because they, for no reason, just added flying enemies, the hoverboard guys, and you really needed late game towers. You needed general, you probably needed machinery, hyper laser, and it's the second mode of the game. I feel like they should balance it more to where you just have to use mostly the intermediate towers like Arsenal, Baller, Cloner, maybe some advanced towers like the pizza place, but that's just overall what I think of yellow mode. But yeah, I do think this update is going to bring a ton of backlash, not because it's bad, but that's because that's what happens naturally in the community. If you've been in the community for a while, you've probably realized that back in the collab update where they nerfed Pizza Place, it just sparked a huge outrage, and everyone started rioting in the chats, and then the mods had to lock down the Discord server, and the balancers, I think the balancers got sent death threats. So yeah, that's gonna be the community's reaction to this huge update. And one more thing I want to mention is that if you've played Roblox tower defense games in the past, you probably realize they all follow this theme where they stop updating and they work on this huge rewrite, and sometimes they release it, but most of the time they just end up canceling it. With Tower Blitz, there was a huge update that was about to come out, and then the game just gets canceled. And that's also kind of what happened with other tower defense games that are probably dead by now. I can't really name any of them, but a big example is probably TDS, because that huge overhaul update was a huge failure because the servers crashed, and then they're still building off of that update. They haven't even finished the beta enemies. So yeah, it would be cool to see this actually, come out and not be like TDS, because with TDS they kind of leak things in advance. With the mecha base, they leaked that in 2020, and it's still not out to the public, at least. So I really don't want to see Doomspire Defense do this, where they leak a map and then add it like almost a year later. So yeah, that's overall what I think of the rewrite update. And if you want to see more videos where I use my voice, I'm trying to get more comfortable using my voice in videos, because I don't really use a script or anything I just talk about whatever is on my mind with the update. So if you like this video, then consider subscribing. It does help me a lot, and it does notify you when I upload a new video. I don't want to be that guy that begs for subs and goes like, oh, like this video or the battler dies or something like that. So yeah, until then, goodbye.